Hello guys, Dale Curtis here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Universal Studios film Huntsman's Winter's War. So let's get started with the plot. So the plot is, I have the notes right here. So two sisters, both played by Emily Blunt and Charlize Theron, they're kind of at differences for right now. But there's a tragic event that leads them onto their separate paths. So Emily Blunt's character goes into build her own kingdom. That's what she does. And in that, she basically steals a bunch of children from this village and she makes them her own warriors. In that, there are two warriors that set apart from each other. So, of course, one's played by Chris Hemsworth, which is why it's a prequel to the 2012 film Snow White and the Huntsman, and Jessica Chastain. But there's a different tone that this movie takes because ultimately those two fall in love, but that's the one thing Emily Blunt does not want. She doesn't want anybody to fall in love because there's something that a man did in her past that destroyed her and made her the woman that she is in the film that we watch. And everything's all context in the beginning. We know all this from the beginning of the plot. So she basically banishes both Chris Hemsworth and Jessica Chastain, but they find a way to get back into a kingdom. And that is by the magic mirror. You know, the mirror on the wall, who's the fairest, and blah, 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 all that jazz. So the mirror is lost, so they have to go out and find the mirror. And in that time, it's basically an adventure movie, and it seems pretty fun. If the trailer would have told us that, I think a lot of people would be much more interested in this film. But the trailer kind of seems more, it's like Charlize Theron and Emily Blunt is movie. And it's really not their movie. Emily Blunt, has a reason to banish these two because, they both fell in love, and she doesn't want that, so she banishes both of them. But they see a loophole. They're all like, okay, if we can give her this one item that she always wanted, maybe we can get back into a kingdom. And then there are some things that happen on the way that doesn't make any sense. I mean, the movie does go about it the right way in terms of fun and in terms of excitement, but it's not really engaging enough, especially in the last 25 minutes. I feel like the first 25 minutes and the last 25 minutes are really needless. I mean, they really aren't. I feel like the structure of the adventure, like I said, the structure of the adventure is between Chris Hemsworth and Jessica Chastain. That's what's really fun about this movie. You see the fight scenes, you see the action sequences, you see some of the fun stuff. The real problem though is that there is no stakes. I mean, no one's gonna die. Because it just leads into other things. I mean, there are really some cheap out fake deaths. Like, I'm not gonna spoil it. When someone falls, they're like, "Oh, I can't believe he's dead." Next scene, boop. I'm all like, I kind of knew that already. Okay, that's not really the point of the movie though, because you're supposed to be in for the ride. And when you're in for the ride, it's a perfectly fine movie, and I actually enjoyed myself to a certain extent, though. There are some things in this movie that make no sense at all whatsoever. The end of this movie, it's really dragging on. It's about in 110 minutes, I believe. It's not 2 hours. I believe it's 150 minutes. So it's not too long, like I would say, because the first one's like 2 hours and 10 minutes, I believe, around that area. This is a little bit shorter, which is perfectly fine. And I do have to give credit to where credit's due, and that is the directorial debut from this director. The first one was directed by Rupert Sanders, I believe, and his directorial style was very unique, but it was a little dull and a little stale at parts. Here, this movie knows that it wants to have fun with the idea that this is basically a Frozen ripoff or a live-action version of Frozen, and they use that to a certain extent, but it doesn't really engage you enough. And that's basically because I'm not the target audience. I mean, seriously. Do I look on the target audience for the Huntsman Winter's War? No, I'm not. But that's not the point. The point of the movie is that if you have a good time, but you probably 90% of people will. I mean, for me, it's just not engaging enough for me to be excited over it. Too many fake death scenes. Like, of course, I know the person's not dead. I don't know how many times you have to show a fake death and make me go like, oh man, I hope he or she's not dead. I know it already. And plus, the terminology between the sister dynamic is a little boring at parts. So, I loved you, sister. What? Who? When? Anyway, the point of the movie, though, I give it like a 5.3 out of 10. It's not bad. It's not terrible. I mean, it's certainly better than most these live action interpretations. But we just came off the Jungle Book, and that is like how it's supposed to be done. This, on the other hand, I feel like it's all one-sided. Is it against hatred of men? No, it's not. Don't even go look into this movie that is sexist or anything like that. It's a perfectly fine movie. Enjoy yourself. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Dale Cuevas. Have a great time. And Zach, get at him.